Welcome everyone. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Just days after new parliament was inaugurated, a fresh debate over Lok Sabha seats themselves has sparked off. A delimitation exercise is scheduled to take place in 2026. This will lead to big increase in Lok Sabha seats as India's population has increased since the last census in 2001. Political leaders from southern states are now worried that the delimitation exercise will lead to discrimination as population in northern states has jumped more compared to states in the southern part of India. They believe that South India is being punished for following the national policy for controlling population and despite greater contribution towards the country's GDP. According to delimitation, a Lok Sabha MP should have a population of about 26.3 lakh people under them. So in states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, where density of population is high, the Lok Sabha seats will naturally increase and quite significantly. While it would have a little to no impact on southern states as the population hasn't increased that much, and we'll give you more details on that. From 2029 Lok Sabha polls, there might be proportionally less representatives from southern India in parliament than northern India. The Lok Sabha seats haven't been changed since 1973 when population was just 55 crores. Now we are over 1.4 billion strong and Lok Sabha seats naturally have to be adjusted to give proper representation to the populace. So what's the solution here? If delimitation is not to be done on the basis of population alone, then can boundaries of a constituency be decided in any other fashion? Or is there also an element of paranoia that is being spread on this issue by opposition parties on the lines of the north-south divide as well? We'll take those questions to our guests in just a bit. Take a look at what non-BJP parties ruling South India have to say. We begin with the BRS. The KT Ramarao has said that the delimitation based on population would be gross injustice to them. Asaduddin Owaisi, who also comes from the same state, has said that we cannot penalize states which are controlling population. A Saravanan of the DMK in Tamil Nadu says will surely oppose delimitation based on population. Thomas Isaac of the CPIM is saying this delimitation done in this fashion will penalize states which have complied with the national policy, that is of keeping population in check. Priyanka Khadge of the Congress that has just come to power in Karnataka has also chimed in. He has said that he supports what is being said by some of the other southern states and they will be punished for controlling population if the exercise is done on the basis of this metrics. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi of the BJP has said that the opposition is confused and they are confusing others as well. Let me also explain what is delimitation exactly and how is it done. So basically this is a process of fixing boundaries of a constituency depending on population. Each constituency is supposed to have a similar number of voters across India. The Delimitation Commission carries out this process. The orders of this panel cannot be questioned in a court. In fact, order copies are laid before Parliament and assemblies, but Parliament assemblies and the state assemblies are also not allowed to modify this order. This order comes into force on a date that is specified by the President then. Let's take a look at history of delimitation in India. The first delimitation exercise post-independence was done in 1952. India was divided into 494 Lok Sabha seats then. Then in 1963, another exercise was done for the first time since the reorganization of the states was done. Lok Sabha seats then were increased to 522. 1973, Lok Sabha seats were hiked to 543 due to population surge. Assembly seats were increased from 3,771 to 3,997. And finally, in 2002, number of Lok Sabha seats was left unchanged. By this time, there were voices that were coming up that suggested that we have to be careful with how we do the delimitation exercise for Lok Sabha. But assembly seats were once again increased, this time from 3,997 to 4,123. And then there was a freeze put on a further delimitation exercise till 2026. So take a look first at how the Lok Sabha of the country could look post-2026 delimitation if it happens. Currently, there are 543 seats in the Lok Sabha. The projection is that 2026 onwards, there could be as many as 846 seats. This is via one assessment. Some assessments differ a little bit here and there. So why are southern states worried? Take a look at how delimitation could change Lok Sabha seats for some of the northern states there. UP could see an increase from 80 to 146. while other states like Bihar, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh could also see almost a doubling of their Lok Sabha share. Meanwhile, the increase for southern states could be lesser. Tamil Nadu could see an increase from 39 to 49, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh from 42 to 54 collectively, Karnataka from 28 to 41, and Kerala, in fact, could be static. So the big debate that's coming up as the delimitation exercise is hovering as far as the politics of the country is concerned. Is there a genuine concern on the basis of the population metrics, or is there also an element of paranoia being spread once again to create a divide?
I think one has to be very, very careful when one changes the representative structure of a country. These things should not be done flippantly.
This concern has been voiced from last 5 years that you cannot penalize those states which have controlled the population.
This delimitation, this purported delimitation exercise, which may or may not take place in 2026, if that happens, ensures that the states which have not adhered to this population control measure, who have not contributed to the economic growth of the country, will stand benefited.
Delimitation purely based on population is going to be quite an injustice for the southern state. There will be a sense of unfairness in this entire scheme of things.
डिलिमिटेशन कोई सरकार नहीं करती, डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन होता है। उस डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन में सभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो है वो अपनी बातें भी कहते हैं, उनके रिप्रेजेंटेटिव भी अलग अलग रूपों में होते हैं। इसमें कंफ्यूज होने की जरूरत ना खुद कंफ्यूज हो और ना किसी को कंफ्यूज हो।
Let's go across to the guests joining us. Tuhin from the BJP, A Saravanan from the DMK, Ravula Sridhar Reddy is from the BRS, and R Rajagopalan is senior journalist also joining us. Let me go across to Mr. Reddy first up. Your party has been one of the first ones to vehemently oppose this. So what is the solution according to you? If there is a population increase differential between north and south, but delimitation is traditionally done on the basis of population alone, because it is fundamentally about how many people a certain MP represents, then what else can be done?
What else can be done? That has to be discussed and debated across the country, and there should be a debate on that. Otherwise, what happens is those states, especially the southern states, who have controlled the population growth and strictly followed the centrist guideline in controlling the population, will suffer. And those states which have not followed the centre's guidelines in the past will get benefited. Like now, Uttar Pradesh, we just have was saying from 82 they will go to a big number, and Bihar, these kind of populous states will get bigger number. Automatically, will have a major share in terms of various other factors also in the days to come. Whether it is wealth distribution, rather funds and aid and grant from this center, there are many other things which automatically get influenced in the days to come. So our concern is in the population of southern states is 18% of the total country now, and we contribute 35% to the national security. But when it comes to the support from the center, it is vice versa.
No, but sir, the issue of funds, or how much you get from the center is slightly different. Let me just focus on the delimitation issue first. Doesn't the debate become moot if there is no alternative on the table?
The alternative will definitely come. Simple, if you don't do it on the population basis, or if it is population, adhere a process or fix a criteria in a way that the southern states will not get suffered.
But how will that happen?
You
every constituent and the constituency in a country has the right to have equal representation. One MP cannot have a greater load than the other MP. So there has to be, either you dump the idea of a population delimitation completely, or there has to be an alternative.
Can you say that every state should have the same number of population? Telangana has 4 crores of population. Andhra Pradesh, 7 crores.
No,
Pradesh,
of course not.
20 crores.
Every state doesn't have even the same land area. So the question of a population symmetry is not possible.
there are many things in this country to be debated now, especially in the representation. It is also the right of southern India, people of southern part of the country should have a proper representation in the parliament. Now it is just not the number. What happens is the southern, northern, south-north divide might come because they will have more representation. Automatically, you can understand what will follow. So our concern is very clear.
I understand your concern, and at one level the concern is justified that states that have lower population, which we ideally want to achieve, should not suffer in the process. But what is the alternative? Let me give A. Saravanan from the DMK an opportunity also. Is there an alternative available?
Yeah. See, this is what we are talking is now just a probability. It will become a possibility only if the BJP wins 2024. It is because it's only the BJP which will want to do what it wants to do in 2026.
Why is that? Why is delimitation a political issue?
I'm coming to it. Coming to it. See, the BJP has we have recently inaugurated a big, huge parliamentary complex, and the Prime Minister was quoted that it can accommodate almost around more than 800 people.
Yes.
If it is not on their minds, why will the Prime Minister talk about 800 MPs? If the delimitation was not there on the minds, or is
but
it
sir,
not
the
there
delimitation has been done in the past by all governments, and it was always supposed to happen post 2026.
Yes.
We need to plan ahead.
Yes, I'm coming to it.
Yeah.
See, when the constitution was framed, this delimitation based on population, nobody would imagine the issue of population creating such a havoc. Nobody would have thought that the southern states will listen to the central government's policies, they will reduce the population, they will contribute to the growth of the country, they will contribute to the growth of the economy, whereas the northern states, they will not listen to it. They will not follow the policy guidelines of the union government. They will drag the country economically, they'll drag the resources of the country. Nobody thought this will happen, but this had happened.
So what's the alternative?
So there has to be an innovative solution. See, first things first. This will become a possibility only if BJP comes back to power in 2024.
So you're saying other parties are not interested in doing this exercise? You're saying other parties are not interested in doing this exercise?
Absolutely nobody will do it. Absolutely nobody will do it because nobody stands to gain by this except the BJP. BJP is a Hindi hegemony party, Hindi majoritarian party, which thinks if it can boost its growth, boost the number of seats in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and other places, just pander to them. We are through. We can perpetually rule the country. See,
but it is also true that it was a BJP Prime Minister, like Prime Minister from the BJP, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, under whom the last delimitation was done, where Lok Sabha seats were not touched. Only assembly seats were touched. And it was under his regime that it was put on freeze till 2026. So what you're suggesting may not be correct.
Yeah, because Mr. Vajpayee was a gentleman. He was a statesman. I don't want to say anything more on that. So let us not compare Vajpayee with anybody else. The question is this. It's a moot point now. But if you ask me whether there are possible solutions, yes, they should not touch it. It should be frozen.
But sir, okay, I take your point. Do you have some other mechanism by which there can be equitable representation for a certain amount of population?
Yes, it's not as though we don't have any examples.
Right.
We have the American example. We have the American electoral college system where all the states, irrespective of the population, have a fixed number of representation at the federal government. So if it is not frozen, then they should come out with something else. So it's a moot point now. Let's discuss this. If the BJP comes back to power in 2024,
then you will look at alternatives. Okay, let the BJP's Tuhin Sinha respond. One, what do you make of the concern that some of the southern states are raising, and aren't they justified in doing so? And the second point that DMK is raising, that actually you have some vested interest in doing this because you are the only ones who stand to gain from this.
Well, good evening, Shivani. Good evening, everybody. I'm sure you also realize by now that the opposition politics is mired in victimhood and hypocrisy and ignorance, and also rank parochialism. You know, throughout the world, the delimitation or the demarcation of a constituency is based on population. And the same applies to India. Number two, where does this distinction between North and South India arise? I mean, for people like us who believe in Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat, if you land at the Hyderabad airport or the Chennai airport, do you ever see a board, welcome to South India? So these people need to grow out of the parochial mindset. You know, there is still some time for delimitation. We will cross the bridge when we come to it, but it is being done with the best of intentions. The intention is to usher in democracy 2.0. Imagine 60% increase in seats. Right now, the biggest constituency in terms of population is in Telangana, is in South. All of these constituencies, if they have an equal population, it would be good from the point of view of administration. But dynastic parties would have a problem because ultimately, they always fear power slipping out of their hands.
No. Answer the question about the population differential and how the representation of South Indian states that have kept their population, at a certain level, at a controlled level, stand to lose if it was done purely on the basis of population alone.
I have a fundamental issue with this distinction between North and South India. I grew up in East India, I stay in West India, I keep traveling to North India. For me, the whole country is one.
Fair enough. Let's say it is not about North or South India. I also don't agree with that distinction. But different states have their concerns. State concerns are still valid.
So Assam will also have its concerns. Assam is a BJP stronghold. If you look at the figures, Assam is also likely to lose its weightage by a certain percentage. So are we cribbing? Northeast is going to lose today. Northeast is a stronghold of BJP. So, I mean, some states gain, some states lose, but eventually at the end of the day, the intention is better administration across the country.
Okay, Mr. Reddy, that's a fundamental point. You look at the representation of Northeast India. It is very marginal in comparison to any other part of the country, even today. So how is it that is okay, but if your seats don't go up by the same margin, then it becomes a problem and it becomes unfair?
We didn't say that it will be okay. Northeast India,
but
South
it has
India,
been the case
North
so
India.
far.
We also have the same feel. Why do you think that we are thinking differently? But here the point from South India, it is coming that if you are doing it only on the population grounds, you are forgetting the basic point. What we are trying to argue. Since we have properly adapted the practice of controlling the population based on the successive central government's advice or instructions, whatever it is, now we are going to lose. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes.
Why don't you think, supposing the population of 18% is delivering 35% of the national GDP, then it also should be in the proportionate of population, right? Why it is higher, double than what we are. So the point here is, for the discipline, we will be penalized. That is what we are actually asking. And we want all these South Indian states to raise this. We are not trying to create an issue out here. We are only trying to, make them understand, boss, this is the problem.
Okay.
Now, those political parties, this will bring in many issues tomorrow. There will be many disparities in the days to come.
Okay. R Rajagopalan, let him come in. He hasn't spoken yet. R Rajagopalan, is there some sense of paranoia being spread? Because I remember when the talk of delimitation in Jammu and Kashmir was being talked about, there too Kashmir-based parties raised a stink, saying that our share will go down and we stand to lose. Eventually, when the contours of the delimitation came out, it came out that actually no one region is losing out. So this parochialism and paranoia based on that parochialism, that because we've had a certain amount of share, we should always have a certain amount of share.
Shivani, you said it very aptly. You put it in a very cogent way. Apart from that, my understanding. In this panel, I am the only one person who has seen 3 delimitation commissions. I reported it. It is a legal issue. It is a constitutional issue. Now it has been a political issue. The reason being, all paranoia, all political problems or parochialism is because of the family dynast parties. In southern states, out of 6, only 3 or 4 dynast politics is taking shape. There is no national party presence in south states, especially in Congress ruled Karnataka. When the time nearer, even the DMK representative conceded that in 2024 Narendra Modi is returning to power. So once it comes to power, my understanding is that it is a paranoia created by the regional parties, state parties, dynast parties. That is the reason Election Commission will definitely bring in an all-party meeting before the Delimitation Commission is announced.
1 second, Mr. Reddy, I'm
Let
coming.
the regional parties represent before the Election Commission and present their views. Let us see how the national view is taken. It is going to be an issue in 2024 and 2025. As we cross the bridge, let us cross the bridge as we approach it. It is too early to speak because it is a very sensitive subject. My understanding is the dynast parties will lose their control. That is why they are jumping and kicking up.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Reddy, you want to respond? Yes, Mr. Saravanan, I'll give you an opportunity. Mr. Reddy first.
See, just terming it as paranoia is a wrong projection. It is not that case. If representing the feeling of the people is paranoia, then you can term it. You are now, even this discussion is going in a different direction. The people who are against this, we are representing the feeling of South Indian people. Now, we are questioning actually the injustice that is going to be meted out.
Okay.
How can it be? And where is the question of you say that dynasty parties, rather regional parties, we are elected by our people. We are not nominated by central government or Narendra Modi. If it is DMK, people of Tamil Nadu has given them mandate.
Fair
if
enough.
It is BRS party, twice we got elected by a popular mandate by our people, and we represent our people.
Okay, but I think what he's suggesting I think what Mr. Rajagopalan is suggesting it, and he can clarify on this, is that there is a lack of what needs to be done nationally as a country, and there is more a parochial view of what is more important for my state and my state alone. Yes, Mr. Saravanan, is that what's happening?
It's called federal structure, respecting the federal structure of this country.
It's not a parochial view.
Okay.
It's not a parochial view. This view is based on nation. This view is based on the nation's interest. The BJP is the party which does not have the nation's interest at its heart. Its only interest is to promote upper caste Hindus. That is the one.
But you're bringing in chaste politics into this. You're bringing your DMK versus BJP politics into an issue that is not based on that politics alone.
I'm speaking about it. I'm coming about it. See, DMK, he has put it very rightly when a certain amount of states which contribute for a large number of economic growth, for the large amount of the GDP, and you want to penalize them. You don't want to take their interest. Their interests are paramount for the growth of the nation. If the BJP wants to play politics and to pander only to Hindi-speaking population and to upper caste Hindus alone, then it is not good.
No, I'm sorry. North India is not just upper caste Hindus alone. I object to that kind of caste distinction being brought in. No, I'm sorry. Mr. Saravanan, every issue is not an issue for you to bash caste.
Allow me to speak.
I allowed you to speak. But I'm not going to allow you to turn this debate into an anti-caste rhetoric. All of North India is not just high caste, upper caste Hindus.
See, I was not talking about North India. I was talking
about
BJP.
No, you did. You said North India, Hindi hegemony. What else does that mean?
What?
You said Hindi heartland. What else does that mean?
Hindi hegemony.
Yeah.
BJP is known for that. BJP is known for that.
Yeah, so you're talking about Northern India only. Northern India, parts of West and parts of East India.
Yeah, so I'm talking about BJP. I'm not talking about anything else. See, that
okay, so don't bring caste into it. I'm only saying that. All of your rest of your points taken. Yes, Tuhin, you wanted to respond?
Yeah, let me speak. I'm not finished yet.
Okay, yes, okay. Mr. Saravanan, I'll give you 30 seconds. Please finish in that. Then Tuhin.
Yes. Mr. Jai Shah is the shining example of nepotism and dynasty politics. Let all the BJP cronies speak about that first. Then let them speak about the dynasty of the other places.
Okay, Mr. Tuhin Sinha.
The DMK spokesperson has only vindicated my opening comment, my opening remark that their politics is based on victimhood and ignorance. We got 3 opportunities to elect a president for the country. On one occasion, we went for a Muslim president. On another occasion, scheduled caste president. On another occasion, scheduled tribe president. And these people blame us for being a Brahmanical party. This shows their ignorance. They probably don't even know what a Brahman is and what a scheduled caste, scheduled tribe person is. Now, coming back to the moot question, whether it is the EVM or this issue, the opposition keeps hallucinating problems where there are none, which only shows their lack of confidence. They can't fight us on merit. I'm challenging them, fight us on merit in 2024. Don't just hallucinate issues when there are none.
That is what actually we are trying to question. Rani.
spoiled the
Yes.
country. You have ruined the country for the
Shivani,
last
Shivani,
2 years.
I want to come in here. Shivani,
Yeah, okay, one by one. I cannot have all of you speaking at the same time. Mr. Rajagopalan wants to come in. Mr. Reddy, just give me a couple of minutes. Mr. Rajagopalan, if indeed there is a population differential, could there be some other solution that can be worked out? Where a certain number of seats is given to each state. Yes, UP, Bihar naturally will have more, but the others also have some sort of a proportional representation.
Shivani, for every problem there is a solution. But the opposition is making solution itself is a problem for the country. Apart from that, census has to be taken. A second thing, my understanding of this is when a problem like GST can be resolved by the parliament, this delimitation can also be resolved. And there is no upper caste or hegemony or anything in this. My understanding is if Jay Shah is very crony, why should DMK minister prostrate before Jay Shah? He is also a BCC member. DMK is also in the cricket board. So let us not divert that.
Yeah, let's not divert into that issue. I'm running out of time. Mr. Reddy, I only have 20 seconds left. Mr. Reddy, 20 seconds left. Is there some solution or alternate solution you will float so that all parties can drive some consensus on it? 20 seconds
like that. There needs to be a debate. Our only concern is that the South Indian states should not suffer. They should not be penalized. They should not lose what they are supposed to get just because they have controlled the population.
Okay, all right. I have to leave it on that
somebody
note.
has not followed the central government directives, they will just get it.
Okay, I leave it at that. I just feel that this issue will be better served if it is purely about states' concerns, and surely concerns that have controlled population or have low population growth rate, then a BJP versus the rest issue. That will not serve this issue. I leave it at that. I do thank our guests for joining us.